Natalie coming to you live, Spirit and Coffee. Got my coffee here. Mm-hmm. That's right. It's good today. So I decided that I wanted to do an espresso. So I did a espresso. And this is my beautiful espresso. Got this in Barcelona. This tiny little cup, Gaudi. You guys don't know who Gaudi is. I've talked about Gaudi a couple of times, but he was highly skilled in the esoterics as well, or spiritual alchemy, or whatever you would like to call it. And he did receive high honors within, like from the Pope, I think, or something like that, with the church. Um, Good morning, Guri. And he utilized nature, and he recognized that natural law was the highest form of law. So that's kind of cool, right? So anyway, got this from Barcelona. Love it, with the little lizard on it. Okay, so salud. What kind of coffee are you drinking? That's my question to you. Okay, let's get started. Of course, we're doing the four agreements, reading the four agreements, and we'll get back to that. Super excited that yesterday was the 2-year anniversary, or marked the 2-year anniversary of Spirit and Coffee. So amazing, so awesome, and just excited to continue the great work and support you guys into your life. And some new things are about to come on the rise with other things. So yay, awesome. Thank you guys for being a part of this. Sorry, I don't know how, Guri, I don't know how to do the call-ins, but if you want to type something out, I'm more than happy to engage and to um respond that way. Okay, here we go. We're gonna do the second agreement still, and that's what we're talking about. Okay, we were talking about the mitote, the lies that we tell ourselves in our head, and how do we overcome those. Okay, the mitote can be compared to a huge marketplace where thousands of people are talking and bartering at the same time. Each one has a different thoughts, feelings, each has a different point of view. The programming in the mind, all of those agreements we have made are necessarily compatible, are not necessarily compatible with each other. Every agreement, like a separate living being, it has its own personality and its own voice. They are conflicting agreements that go against other agreements, and on until it becomes a big war in the mind. The mitote is the reason humans hardly know what they want, how they want it, or when they want it. They don't agree with themselves because there are parts of the mind that want one thing and other parts that want the exact opposite. This is really critical to communicate about how we have conflicting stories going on in our head, and why it's hard for us to sort of walk our divine purpose or divine birthright, because we have all of this stuff going on, blah 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 blah, 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 in our head. Okay, and that's what it sounds like, blah 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 blah. We have all these things going on in our head. Now, we have conflicting stories happening in our head. So we'll be saying, yeah, I want this. Oh, no, I don't. Wait, I want that. No, I don't. Good morning, those on Facebook. Please say good morning. And please, if you're on Podbean, please say good morning, or the podcast live. I would love to say good morning to you. Cheers, salud. Share your coffee, likes, whatever coffees you like. I like to share coffee. One day we're going to come together as a little family, and I'll drink coffee together and wear cozy robes and be like little old ladies, even if you're a man. Just kidding. Actually, I'm not kidding. I want all the men to be like little ladies too. All of us. We'll just be like in robes. Okay. Sorry, that's totally off topic. So the conflicting stories in the head, and this is important. I like that idea because what it tells us is that it gets a little bit harder for us to actually create our divine purpose in this world. Why? Because we don't know what we want. We don't. Most people don't. You ask them what they want. Good morning, Tom Nook. Good morning, Kavas. Good morning to those on you on Facebook. Can you please say good morning? No one is showing up here. Thank you, Martin. I appreciate that. Good morning, Paulo Costa. Now, here's how it happens, right? Thank you. Thank you, Tom. Here's how it happens. We in our minds, okay? This um good morning, sister. Sister from another mister. We'll have a conversation, right? And we'll be like, I totally know what I want. I'm on this track. Here I am. It's like you get this like spark of inspiration to do something, right? Good morning, Angel. Angel. Thank you for saying good morning, those on Podbean. I love that. I can't see your faces, but I like to see your little emoji faces. And in the mind, okay, and what happens in the mind is that we get this spark of inspiration. Now, the spark of inspiration is not necessarily coming from the mind, it actually is coming from what our belly, our divine will, the source of our inner desire to what manifest what we want in the world, to manifest our divine birthright, to express what we are internally and magnify that on the external world, to show people who we are. And sometimes it's a little scary. Now we get this spark of inspiration, so it's like, okay, I'm going to go to school, and I'm going to become a nurse, okay, or I'm going to go to school and I'm going to become this, or I'm going to, I don't know, get honors, or I'm going to, do whatever it is, right, that you're wanting to do. You get this spark of inspiration. I'm going to write that book. I'm going to open that company. And then we start to do it. And then we think, because in our mind, right, we know in our mind that it's like, oh, yeah, it's going to be this beautiful thing. It's going to be so easy. It sounds phenomenal. Everybody's going to love it. And then we start to do it. And then we slowly realize, okay, is this harder than we thought? It's not going to be easy. And not everybody's so excited about this idea. Not like I thought they would be. Well, here's the deal. We start to self-doubt. And so when they talk about the mitote and the four agreements, they're talking about the noise that happens in the head. It's kind of like the static noise. And then all of a sudden, so notice when you're driving down the road and listening to a radio station, or notice sometimes when you're watching TV. And for the older people, you guys can remember this, when we had antennas and we had to like adjust them to catch the wave, right? And sometimes we catch a wave and then sometimes the channel changes and you're like, wait, I'm watching this channel. Why is that channel coming in? And you're confused. So in our brain, that's sort of happening, right? It's like, and all of a sudden it's like tunes in. It's like, you're amazing. You're doing great. And then, oh my God, what are you doing? That's terrible. And you have all these voices happening. What that does is create self-doubt. And then when the self-doubt starts to arise within us, we start to question, are we on the right track? Why are we doing this? This is dumb. It's not working out. That's it. I quit. That's simple. People will quit like that. And I hope you guys could hear the snap like that. We quit instantaneously on things. We just give up because of the mind and what's happening and all of the different things that are pulling us in different directions. Or we drink the poison of what other people said. That ain't going to work. Why are you doing that? And then you start to believe it. And then you're like, oh my God, it's not going to work. And then before you know it, you have that voice in your head. And then you have the other voices like, yeah, but you want to do this. This is really makes you happy. Yeah, but everybody's telling me. So what ends up happening is chaos. And then we have self-doubt, and then we don't even know who we are, what we do, what we want to do, how we want to move forward. Good morning, Finley. Sorry. Good morning, Tiana. I'll wave at you if you guys show up, but for some reason not showing up. Now, all of those voices in our head, right? They jumble up, and we're going like, how the hell do we get this going? How do I magnify? How do I create my divine birthright? How do I leave my legacy? How do I leave my fingerprint in the world when all of this is happening and it just seems like I'm getting nowhere? Okay. For me and what I do in my process, and I've told you guys this, and if you guys want to go back to my New Year's workshop that I kind of did, tells you to get clear about what it is you're creating and stand firm in that no matter what happens. That is set up by our intentions and our declarations. Good morning, Doreen. Our declarations are the ones, our intentions are the ones, right? Vanil. I don't know if I'm saying your name right. I'm sorry if I'm totally butchering that. Eesh. Okay, but it is through our declarations. It is through our intentions. It's standing firm on those declarations even when the voices come up and say you're not enough. For instance, this podcast, right? Now, what happens is, for me, I'm so clear about my convictions. I'm like, that's it. That's what I'm doing. Now, does that mean that I'm not flexible? No, it doesn't mean that you don't become flexible. It means that you just start somewhere. And it's okay to shift and adjust things. It's taken me years to shift and adjust, and I'm still growing, right? Before I was just doing Facebook Live on my own personal Facebook, and now I'm doing Facebook Live. I created a page, and it took 2 years for me to get there, almost 2 years for me to actually create a separate page to do Facebook Live. It took me almost 2 years to do a podcast on Podbean and get on Spotify and iTunes, and all those things didn't happen overnight. It's not going to happen that way. It doesn't happen that way. And I know that these people will say it over and over and over again. And to be successful, you got to fail forward. Well, it's true. You do. You fail a lot, but it's because of the voices. It's because of the poison we drink that others give us. We don't have to drink the poison. We can hear it. We can listen to it and say, oh, yeah, okay, hear that. But that's not me. Now, I'm not saying to not get data, because there was something, these business coaches that I've talked to, because I do want to expand Spirit and Coffee. And I do want it to have a kind of a life of its own. I want it to be able to serve humanity when I'm gone, or if I'm not here, or I no longer am here, right? The sustainability, the capacity to leave something behind. And I think that's all really what we're trying to do, is how do we leave our great legacy behind? And some of it seeps into business, because that's how things get left behind. That's how legacies get left behind, through business, through a legacy that was left. Like, here's something tangible I can leave behind. How do we leave our legacy behind? You've got to get started. Just start somewhere. And then pivot if you need to pivot. And get market research. That's okay. It's okay to ask people, is this something you'd be interested in? If they're not, fine. Like, for me, I don't do this if people, okay, so if people aren't interested in listening to me on this podcast, that's fine. I do it because this is my divine birthright. This is what is called forth for me. And if people start to listen, that's awesome, because it really is for you guys, right? It's for you, it's for me. We're all learning together in this. It's not independent. Oh, I know all the answers. Here I am. Listen to me. That's not how this works. This works because you guys work, because you guys are willing to work for you. You guys are willing to step up for yourself. Now, is it niche? Yeah. And that's the thing, is that I don't know if some of you guys are business. If there's any business people on here, like growing a company, or trying to magnify their birthright, please say so. Please give me some insight. Um, some people are just trying to figure out how to get through the day. I get that. And there's some people who are like, hey, I'm ready to like get my company going. I'm ready to like get my career going. I'm ready to have a child. I'm ready to get married. I'm ready to, there's big life things that are happening. And then in the mind, the mitote that comes along, we start to self-doubt, or we start to go, oh my God, am I doing this the right way, or whatever. I'm here to say, overcome your fears. We don't know unless we do it. We don't know unless we try it. We don't know unless we go through the fire. You have to go through the fire. So if there's anybody that's doing business, and that'll be the example today, then I say, for you, just get started. Period. That's it. You don't have to know the how and stuff. If you look at the great leaders, they didn't know. They just did it. They just started. You've got to start somewhere. Everybody starts somewhere. Everybody's a beginner at something. I'm a beginner at stuff. Like, I'm working right now at a place where I'm a beginner. Sales, I'm a beginner. I don't know what I'm doing. I really don't. And I've held positions, director's positions. I've done so much in my life, but this is something I've never done. And I'm willing to learn. I'm not afraid. I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. But do you have the help and support to teach me? So don't be afraid to learn either. So when you hear this conversations in your head, the static noise, and you're trying to accomplish something in your life, Go back to what your intentions are. If you don't build intentions and declarations and you don't stand firm in what it is you're up to, guess what? You're going to fail every time. Why? Because you're not standing firm. You don't have a solid foundation. You didn't build the foundation properly. Building the foundation is critical for success, because if you do fail, you're not failing and going back to, I don't know, ground zero, right? You have at least the base. Why are the pyramids still around? Think about that. You could think about sacred geometry in this. Why are the pyramids still around? How are the pyramids still around? Why can't we make things that are going to last, I don't know, millions of years? Because the pyramids are going to be there forever. But the way they built them, why? Because of the foundation that it was built upon. The foundation itself is so strong that it can outlast probably some of the worst conditions. So you can think of your life as that, right? How do I build the foundation when I have so many voices in my head that are pulling me in 500 different directions? And I did tell you guys at the first of the year, set your goals, know what your values are, know what your principles are, and always come back to those. That's how we bring ourselves back to the self-awareness. Good morning, Rick. That's how we bring ourselves back to the awareness. It's a little tricky. So the voices, the static in the head, and that is what keeps us from actually not being able to do what we want, because we're getting pulled in 500 different directions. If you have a firm foundation, if you have your morals and your principles and your values and you stand firm in those, that means you don't compromise it no matter what. Okay, and down to the tiniest things, and I'm going to tell you how crazy I get over standing firm in my principles. I was doing some marketing material for Spirit and Coffee, right? I do those little like sayings, and I come up with sayings and things to say. And I told my niece, help me come up with some of the sayings. And in the saying, she was saying something like about coffee, right? Because it's a spirit in coffee, and I love coffee. So obviously I'm gonna make stuff that has to do with coffee. So I was like, well, let's do like something with coffee, right? Let's talk about coffee. And she said something, and she put coffee first, like have some spirit but first coffee. And I said, no, that goes against the actual purpose of this platform. Coffee isn't first, spirit is always first. And even in my memes, even in so again, it's saying I'm not going to waver. If I did it once, if I compromised just one time, then I'm always going to compromise. That's the big key here. So not compromising, right? Don't compromise your values. It's hard because living ethically or having a set of principles that guide you to be ethical can be complicated as you start to rise, right, in success, because they're going to want to chip away at that little the voices in your head, the people coming at you. Oh, well, just do this and it'll get you over there a little faster. Let's take the fast track, which means compromising everything you stand for. You're selling out at yourself. You're not selling out on them. You're selling out on you, because you said you made an agreement with yourself that you would be authentic, or you would be vulnerable, or that you would stand in honor, or that you would be loyal, or that you, whatever it is, or that you would be love, or you would be compassion, or whatever it is that you're choosing to be, to come back to that every single time. So in the example I'm giving, I said, no. Good morning, man. Good morning, Heather. Good morning, Raven. Favorably so. Not compromising. No, I will not compromise. Spirit always first. So I can do the opposite of, yeah, let's have some coffee, but first spirit, right? First spirit. Let's do that first. When I wake up in the morning, first thing I do, drink water, breathe. I was doing Kundalini practice. Stop doing that because it's an hour long. But learning to use my breath, self-nurturing, drink water, then coffee. But I love coffee too, so coffee's a part of it. Salute to you guys. Anyway, I'm drinking an espresso, by the way. An espresso shot from my Nespresso machine. So the mitote, the things that happen in our head. So I highly encourage you to either go back and watch that workshop or find somebody else. It really doesn't matter. What matters here is that you guys are very clear about the foundation that you're building. I do want to say this. It is a year, it's a 4 year. Okay. So how do you get the 4 year? You add up all the numbers, you get four. Okay. It's a 4 year. And the 4 year is what we call setting foundations. Four is a foundational number because we have four sides in a square, and a square, you think about the pyramids, it was built on a square. It's firm. And as you build up, your base is really firm and strong. So this is a year for you guys to build your base. I've talked about this already, and I'm going to continue to talk about it throughout the year. That's what we get to do if we choose to build our divine legacy, our empire, whatever it is that we choose to leave behind. You all have a unique fingerprint, you all have something unique to leave behind. And so we do that by building that firm foundation. So I highly encourage you to build the foundation, figure out your morals, your principles, your goals, everything that you stand for, and don't waver from that. If you feel the urge to compromise, then you can bring up the self awareness piece and ask yourself, why am I willing to sell out on myself? And that's a powerful question. You're not selling out on others, you're selling out on you. Why would you sell out on you? Why would you do that to yourself? Those are bigger questions, and people are like, ooh, I don't want to answer that because I don't want to sell out on. Who wants to sell out on their stuff? Nobody. Okay. So that is the message for today. Go set your foundation. Go set a firm foundation. Let's see here. Give me just a moment, because now we're all okay. Let me read the last paragraph in this book, or this section, and then we'll go into the last couple of pages of this particular agreement, which is don't take anything personally. So some part of the mind has objections to certain thoughts and actions, and another part has the actions of opposing thoughts. All these little beings create inner conflict because they are alive and each have a voice. Only by making an inventory of our agreements will we uncover all of our conflicts in the mind and eventually make order out of the chaos of the mitote. This is the self-awareness. This part two also is speaking when it says take inventory of the voices. Well, what does that mean? Okay, this voice came up. I'm going to inventory a log and what that voice told me. No. Okay. What it's saying is to take an inventory of the archetypes or personalities that you actually have. We all have several personalities that arise within us. They come from the programming that has happened since we were children. That programming has been dropped into the subconscious mind, and subconsciously, we interact with the world based on the program. Okay? Think of ourselves as a computer. We really are like computers, to be quite honest with you. Okay? Now, in the programming, we have specific ways that we engage certain situations. It's almost like we do have a natural system of our nervous system, right? Our central nervous system, that's something that was built internally for us. So we have fight, flight, freeze, right? Or we have harmony, peace, and relaxation. Okay. So in that, or in knowing that, we have a program within us. And how we perceive and engage certain situations is important. You can have two siblings in the same house. One of them is a fighter, one of them will bail out and leave. And that's how they engage certain situations based on their own perception. So your own personal perception has then programmed the way you are. In that programming, you have arisen different personalities. So notice that with your friends, you're different than when you're with your parents, than with your, I don't know, kids, if you have kids, or your nieces or nephews, or if you're around kids, or that you're different at work than you are at home. The inventory that you're taking is the different personalities that arise within you when you're in certain situations. The self awareness of those is how we maneuver through life masterfully. How do you find out what they are? I can tell you what my archetypes are. I can tell you what my personalities are. I know them. The clarity comes not in it's the clarity comes in identifying what they are and knowing what they are, and that's a way to set a foundation. Now, they tell you this in different meanings in different ways, and this book says to take an inventory. Well, how do you do that? That's the problem, is that these books are like, yeah, they're help, but how do I take it further? How do I actually make something meaningful? I don't even know what that means. It means that we have different personalities. It means that we engage people differently. It means that we have different conversations with different people, different thoughts, different programming. When I get out into traffic, I turn into crazy. I want to just I just go and I get angry, right? You guys know about my traffic anger. I don't do anything to people, trust me. I just in my car screaming at myself. But I laugh because I know that it's just a personality that's arising within me, and I allow it to come in, out, and let go. Okay? That's what it is. Take an inventory of your personality types. When you have that inventory and you're clear about it, when each personality arises within you, you'll know how to engage with it. And you'll be able to communicate that clearly. Mastery lies in communicating clearly, communicating what is arising within you clearly without feeling guilty or shameful or anything. I'll tell people how I feel. I have cramps today. I'm grouchy. Why? I don't know. Because I am. That's just what I'm feeling that internally. Not sure why. Not that that's the kind of person I am. Or I'm super excited. Why? Well, here's what's going on. Or I'm sleepy or whatever it is. I'm able to. Good morning, coffee, Sherry. Good morning, men. I don't know if you guys are still on here, but good morning to you if you are. So as they arise, you understand how to engage them. Okay. So that's where we're going to end today. I again got my espresso coffee, so I'll salute you with my espresso and just take the last shot. I felt like an espresso today, but guess what? Boom. I got my cup of coffee here too with this little lid that goes on top, which is totally cute. So there you have it. So I love you guys. I will be seeing you tomorrow. And of course, we will be talking about the Four Agreements, continuing the book. Excited to see what else we can unveil. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, please, 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 please reach out. I did have a gentleman reach out to me on my Spirit and Coffee. Thank you for reaching out. You guys on Podbean, on Live Air, you guys can also follow me on Facebook Live at Spirit and Coffee Talk. And I'm also on Instagram, Spirit and Coffee 1 at Spirit and Coffee 1. I'm also on iTunes and Spotify. So you guys can follow me there as well. Whatever your heart's desire, or you can continue just coming up the way you're coming up here, which is fine as well. So I love you guys. Have a great, great, great day. It's Thursday. I have a 12-hour workday. Yay. And then I have a 12-hour workday tomorrow. Yay. So I am working a lot. But I'm still here to serve you guys always. So have a great day. I'm excited. New things are happening with Spirit and Coffee. More to be revealed, you guys. A lot is coming. And I'm super excited to share it with you guys. because you are my family, and let's just drink coffee together. Okay, so I love you guys. Have a great day. Tomorrow's Friday, and I hope that you make it a thankful Thursday. Okay, love you guys. Have a good day. Bye bye.